Okay, welcome to your next private lesson. What we're going to do today is we're going to expand the basic hand techniques to practice in the horse stance. As you know, as I taught you originally, as I was taught originally, as Grandmaster Nakamura taught, Sensei Oda taught, Sensei Flores taught, and I taught it because they were my instructors. What Sensei Nakamura was all about, Grandmaster Nakamura, was fundamentals. Everything was fundamentals because he was the last generation of people, and he was one of the last masters to actually use it in personal combat before the Japanese outlawed it. So that was his point of reference for everything. So that's when he developed the Bobo gear. Everything was kill or be killed, fundamental techniques were the best. And that's why you got, if you remember this, we started out going closed fist, rising block. 1, 2, then the outward block. 3, 4, and then the downward block. 5, 6, right? It was all done over horse stance. And then you practice that, and you did 10 rising blocks. And then you did 10 outward blocks. Get there in a minute. And then 10 downward blocks. And these are good. When you first learn karate, Okinawa Kenpo Karate, these are important. These are the fundamentals you need to be good at them. And then all the other basic, or should I say, they're not really, people make the mistake of saying, these are basic techniques. They're not basic techniques. They are the techniques. There's nothing basic about them to execute them. But the other hand techniques were only taught in the kata with very little explanation. You just monkey see, monkey do. Okay? As a law enforcement trainer, that doesn't work. When you're training police officers and correction officers and probation officers to survive violent encounters and life and death situations, it's got to be fundamental, it's got to be perfect, and it has to work all the time. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to expand the basic hand techniques that you're going to practice. Here I am in the horse stance, as you're supposed to be. And as you know, we started out this way. You start out with the left hand, as opposed to the right hand traditionally, because this is your weaker hand, so you've got to practice with it more and more, make it more dominant. So we started out, of course, with just the rising block, with the fist, and remember, it kind of comes around in a circle. Okay, it's just not straight up. The way it's done properly, it comes across and up, so it becomes a pari as well as a block. And so it comes across this way and becomes the rising block. And then you learn the rising block. The next technique you learn was the outward block. And it came this way. And you practice it in close with the elbow, shoulder height, and you practice it over and over. And then you did the downward block. And it only came up to solar plexus and down. And that's the way we teach it. That's the way it's done to be effective. Okay, then, other techniques are open hand. So we do the same thing. It's a rising block, but it's done with an open hand, like a spear hand stroke. And so it's done here, and it's done here, here, here. And then you do the outward block, okay? Again, with the open hand. This is done in the kata this way. And then you do the downward block with the open hand. And then the inward block. This is done with the blade of the hand here. Good. Then it's done with the palm. This way. Now past your shoulder. Okay. Then you have the hook block, done this way. Now turn sideways so you can see it better. This is Seisan. Okay. Then you have spear hand strokes. Well, we've got one more palm heel block that you get into when you get into the more advanced kata, where the block is not done across this way, it comes across this way. It comes at a 45-degree angle. And in the kata, it's done like this. And that's what you're doing. You're attacking me straight, and my hand is here. And of course, it just goes straight over. Comes at an angle, in. That's what you're doing. Because you're coming in and grabbing. That's what you're doing. Block and grab. Block and grab. Block the hand, grab. That's what you're doing. Now, open hand strikes. First, you did only one closed hand strike, which was this, the forward punch. And you did this different levels, multiple times, right? Then you have the half fist punch, which is done this way. Delivered exactly like the forward punch, except the wrist snaps at the end, and you hit with the first two knuckles. And you see it comes here and snaps. Here and snaps. Okay? Then you have the inverted punch. This comes up to the face. It's a nahachi. So from here, invert it up. Good. Now you also have a back knuckle strike. But it's not done like you see other people do it, like so. For the most part, it is done coming up and down. So it comes from here, you come up, and then strike down. This is what you did in one suit. Okay? And you come up, comes chambers here, and down. So that's what you're doing here. Coming up, and down. Straight into you. Straight down, straight down. Okay. And of course you have the knife hand strike. And then it comes up from here, and you strike this way, just like in Wansu, Seisan, and all the other advanced katas. You do that number. From here, comes up, across, it's like you're holding a glass of water. Then of course, then you have the knife hand strike off to the side. Touches the shoulder, goes out. And then you have the hammer strike. Works the same way. That's the shoulder. Then you have palm heel strikes. Palm heel to the face, upper level, comes in, thumb in, strike the face, the fleshy portion of your palm. And then you do it with the other hand, strike, 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 strike. Now, to the body. You come this way, into the body. You do this because any pressure toward your upper knuckles and fingers will put a wrist lock on yourself. That's why the contact is here. And you go this way, so I'm hitting your ribs and solar plexus with this portion of my hand. Good. Then you have a spear hand strike. And the cockpit's done this way. Okay? Target actually is the throat. And so from here, you bend your fingers in a little bit. So it looks like this, not straight. You'll jam your fingers. Bend it in slightly, thumb goes in, and it goes to the throat. Now the same spear hand strike. Palm down, goes to the eyes. Because when it goes to the eyes, when you keep your fingers together in case they block. If you do like they do in self-defense, or they do some of the kung fu styles, you know, when you throw that technique and I attempt to block it or block it, if your fingers are apart, you'll get your finger broken if it gets caught in my block. And so you keep your fingers together so you're striking with one unit. That's where the strength is. And then when it hits the nose, it splits. Because it hits that bridge of your nose and it separates your eyes. And so you naturally get both eyes with two fingers. Now, palm heel block. We did this here. Now there's also a lower level down a palm heel block. And so from here, that's what you get more, a better picture of my body here. And so palm heel block is a circular movement. And it comes from here and down. And it stops right with your hip, and you block, it stops at the hip. And you're scooping the technique away. If it's to my solar plexus, I can sweep it away. If it's to my, a kick to my solar plexus, you sweep it away. And that's what you do. And you'll oftentimes in the kata see this block and then strike. The palm heel strike to the body. You see it in Seisan, but they're blocking tighter because you're fighting close. And so you don't have a lot of, the distance has changed. So if you're really in close to me, and you punch me or kick me, and I'm here and I block it, it's not out here. It's going to sweep past here as I sweep it away. Then, last but not least, we have the X block. And the X block is done in the kata like this. Sometimes it's done up or down. And the point is, the block is done this way. Okay? This is just a preparation. And because what actually happens with the X block is the block is a palm heel block, and you come across and grab the hand. And so basically it's done, you practice it this way. You start in this position, okay? And then you block with this palm by pushing it out. And if the strike comes in straight, you block it with the other palm. So the movements are here and here. This nice smooth motion of you relax and you block. You relax and you block. Okay? And you can also block down. So if the punch comes in here, I can pull it down and catch it here. And the kata, it's done this way oftentimes. And as I told you before, everything in kata is reversed. So if you try to block something like this, you'll see this on video, YouTube videos, people trying to come over across with a knife or a club, and they're doing this number, and they're doing some kind of block. Won't work. It's not intended to work. It's intended so if you didn't know the correct way to do it, you didn't learn the Tori, technique, you do this and get mangled, okay? Because you didn't learn the right way. And so the block is left, right, or down. And usually they involve grabbing for an arm bar or shoulder lock, which we'll get into in another class. So I'm just trying to expand out now the basics that you train with every day. And I'll see you next lesson. Train hard.